But that's not what I wanted to hit you about. I want to talk about the whole Will Smith situation. So I feel like you didn't get a hot take in on it. So yes, when you're saying words are violence, I'd love for you to kind of explain that one to me.
I think.
Oh, speaking of Hassan, he called me
Yeah.
a transphobe today.
Yeah, we saw it. He only watched like I think it.
But when they said they weren't letting black folks on trains in Ukraine, I was like, man, fuck them niggas. And
What do you mean by when they were on Twitter and shit, like cheering on, like, oh yeah, like we got his income, guys, we were taking out his job. It's like, okay, well, you know what? If you get hit by a fucking car, like, Will Smith would be like, if I use this term, do you just tell me if you understand what this means? If I say like a starter black boyfriend, does that mean anything to you?
yes, hello.
Hey, what's up, baby girl?
All right, we're on. So you ready to play some League for the next 3 hours? I'm about to jungle for you all day.
Oh yeah, have you been grinding the Rift?
Unfortunately, honestly, I could see how it's addictive.
Oh no, dude, you're gonna lose your. It's not good, man. I broke free of it for now.
Have you?
Yeah, I haven't played in it like a couple weeks, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I made the mistake. You know what I also realized? I shouldn't be playing games like that because I am incredibly toxic. So
Yeah, team games will do that too. Those types will.
yeah. It's very impressive how just playing blind pick, not even ranked. I'm just like, oh, this is so brain dead. Like, cool. But it's a challenge for me to work on that. I've learned to mute every other player, and just if I can't see anything stupidly right, then I can't get triggered.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so that's my effort. But
What do you play ranked at all, or?
listen, I've been playing for what, a week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm level 26, so I don't think I can play ranked until level 30. So
You're going down a dark path, my friend. I'm just warning
I'm
you
not
about
I'm not I'm not gonna get too into it. But I don't listen.
yeah?
I don't know if I'm actually any good, but I'd be carrying a lot of games. But those are blind picks, so I feel like once I get ranked, I'm gonna get smacked up and realize just how many skills I'm lacking.
All right, well, good luck.
Destiny, do you have bets on BVS Fantasy Slot?
But that's not what I wanted to hit you about. I want to talk about the whole Will Smith situation. So I feel like you didn't get a hot take in on it. So I was wondering what you thought about the slap that was heard around the world.
The slap? Oh yeah, I didn't really have any hot takes. I didn't really think it was a hot take situation. I think that hitting people when they say mildly offensive jokes, if that, is probably not a good thing. And then I think it kind of ended there. But it seems like everybody in the world found a way to shoehorn their particular political issue into that one.
Well, I think where the interest comes in is not necessarily in the action itself, but the reaction around it and people's takes on that. I think that's what became fascinating for me. I could see that happening. Somebody going on stage and slapping somebody for something they said. I could see that happening. What I did not expect is how many people would condone it, one. And two, how strange it was for him to just be able to stay at the award show, go up and do a speech, be able to party afterwards. I'm like, did everybody just see this motherfucker go up and hit somebody on live TV?
Yeah, I mean, I could see like a normal audience happening where that happens, but an actor from an audience doing that, that's pretty wild to me. Like, I feel like there should be more mutual respect there, but unless it was like unless it was like a crazy joke. But like, I thought the joke was pretty tame. I mean, it's Chris Rock. I mean, like, that was a really tame joke. Yeah, I don't know.
I think that the reaction around it was fascinating. That's what really took me away, like really set me off. I was so shocked by how many people were like, yay, if somebody says something you don't like, you should go up and punch them in the face. I was like, since when?
Yeah.
Since when is this normal? Like, how is this a normal response that we want to encourage adults to make? Oh, and to me, it also speaks to the whole idea of like, remember there's a time where people were like, yeah, if you don't like their political takes, just punch them in the face. Like, that was stuff that people were really buying into for some degree online.
Yeah, of all like the hottest tweets I did, I think the hottest tweet I made about the event was, it's pretty sad how quickly we slid from it's okay to punch Nazis to it's okay to punch people when they make jokes we don't like. It seems kind of
right. And the way that they masked it was interesting. They said,
he was defending
his wife's honor.
Yeah, pretty.
Like, what is
misogynistic.
This, well, she can't take a joke.
Yeah. And you got a little bit of toxic masculinity baked in there. The idea that the husband's job is to beat the shit out of anybody that would dare impugn the integrity of his queen. Like, yeah. And Will Smith was for a long time like a big figure in the black community. Because of his role on Fresh Prince and what he represented, the way he didn't want to swear in rap music. Yeah.
for a lot of people, they viewed him in a very special way. And so obviously with the whole red table talk and everything that was going on there, people's perception of Will and his relationship dynamic kind of started to change. But this one was a very like polarizing moment in a way. And this is something my friends were talking to me about, and I never really considered, but they really brought up like the racial component of it, saying like, at least within the Black community, a lot of times, like a violent response between men to the slightest form of disrespect is so common. It even made it to the fucking Oscars.
That, that ironically, that reminds me of a Chris Rock joke. Older, all of his, I feel like.
Yeah, there's niggas and there's black people.
No. More than that, it was, I don't remember who it was. I don't remember if it was in Baltimore or what, but there was like a black mayor or whatever, and I guess he got busted for possession of.
Oh yes, crack.
Yeah, and it was like even our proudest moment, we had a crackhead on stage, like some shit like that. Yeah, it just reminds me of that. Yeah. That's just kind of rhetoric I get really uncomfortable with. I ran into that a lot around canvassing. A lot of people with this idea, like that's just what Black people do, and it's like, man, that feels a little bit fucked up. Like I feel like hot take. I mean, like I think that Black people in general are like normal human beings. So when I see that kind of like excuse kind of made for behavior, that feels really weird to me. A lot of those takes where people were like, oh well, you're a white person, you shouldn't be able to comment on this. It's like, bro, what the fuck? Hating someone because they said some. I don't think that's like something that is like. Some racial groups can get away with that because that's just how they are. That feels really weird to me.
And yet, if you actually asked most Black folks, they would say, "Yeah, that's fine." They understand it. And
well, hold on. There's a difference. Fuck. I think this is another Chris Rock joke. There's a difference between I don't condone it, but I understand it. Isn't that another one of his skits? Am I crazy?
I don't know all of his material, but what I was trying to get at with this is that. As far as like the so this is something I've been like parsing in my head for the last few days because I think it like gave me a moment of introspection. But the instantaneous response towards violence when it comes to whatever kind of like emotional conflict you're feeling is much higher with Black folks. That's been my experience personally. Okay, so I'm speaking to personal experience, but this is also all of my friends have relayed to me as well. And this is not something to shit on Black folks or anything like that. But I remember growing up for a long time, it's like niggas weren't invited to parties because they would always cause issues. Like we used to have a saying, it's like you can't have a party without Black people, but you can't have a party with just Black people. And the reason being is like some nonsense would often pull out. Now, obviously, conservatives will come out and say, well, Black people are just more prone to violence. It is what it is. And so they'll use that as kind of almost a race rhetoric. And then the lefties will be like, no, they're individuals. But if you're honest and you understand the people and where they come from, you understand that it's a different cultural upbringing. So there is some element of truth to that. And I'm not saying this to appeal to racist folks or anything like that. That's ridiculous. But I think it should be discussed. One of the things that I read up on that really saddened the fuck out of me was that in Chicago, one of the biggest leading causes of like gang violence or just like violence in general within the city is somebody making a social media post that another person didn't like, and then they would have a problem with it in person and go straight to violence. Jeez. And I was thinking, right, where does that come in culturally, where like the slightest sign of disrespect immediately leads to violence? And I think there's some aspect within Black culture itself, there is that element like, yo, don't ever let a nigga punk you, all right? Don't ever let him say some shit like that to you. And so I think there is some truth to that.
I think it comes from a different place. I feel like when you have, I think that your proclivity towards violence is going to come a lot from what you've got going on in your life. And because Black people historically are like at a socioeconomic disadvantage, if all you have is like your honor, your word, your integrity, then like, yeah, you will defend that by beating the shit out of somebody that tries to punk you, because that's all you have, right? I feel like if you look at it's like that there's like the Boondocks that fucking
the nigga moment.
Yeah, that
don't worry, I'll say all the N-words.
I'm on YouTube now, okay? The nigga moment, okay? Fuck you, all right? On that skit, when the white guy goes to like have that moment when the guy steps on his shoes, do you remember what he says is like when the Black guy's talking to him, he's like, this is a perfectly good moment to throw your life away. right?
Yes.
With the joke being like, well, the white dude he's got like a ton of shit going on in his life, right? Like he fucking probably has a job, he's got a family. Like why would he fucking throw his life away on that? He's white, right? Meaning like his life is like decent, yeah. Because I think that like if I think about like white people, which we wouldn't expect to go to violence as much, I think depending on the type of community that you're in, I think you could get that type of response. But it's not going to be like in a middle class, like super pampered white community. Much the same where like if you go to like my guess would be is that if you find like some like decently well-off black people that are like doing pretty good, they're probably not going to jump to violence as quickly as like, you know, like people that live in the fucking ghetto or do gang shit or whatever will as well. I feel like it depends on how much you got going on in your life. That'd be like
I think
my
it
guess.
mitigates. I think it mitigates to some degree, but I know for black folks, proving their masculinity is far more important than a lot of other cultures. And I can say this at least within a Western context, because like I'm sure if I went to like some parts of the Middle East, they'd feel like the need to do that just as much.
Sure,
but I'm just talking about in a Western context. Okay, I know for black folks, the need to prove their masculinity is a big deal. It's why like if you even hint at something gay, everyone's like pause, pause, ayo, cause like even if you're just like, hey man, like you could say the most innocuous thing, and if it even seems kind of gay, like nah, that's just gay, bro. Don't even be saying that.
Yeah, it might be a little bit more baked into black culture as well, sure.
Yeah,
and we see it like reverberate throughout like rap music and everything. Obviously, there's huge criticisms there, or historically there were. Yeah.
Yeah, the need to prove your manhood is ever so present, and so when the topic of like a disrespectfulness in regards to the wife comes up, as a man, it's a disrespect on you. And so you cannot allow that.
So I understand this. Okay. So does it change or do you view it a little bit differently in that it seemed like, and I'm reading into this a little bit because we don't have like, I don't think we have all an uncut camera footage, but it seemed like initially Will didn't care that much, but then he saw that his wife cared, and then he felt like he had to have a different change on it. Does that?
Yeah, I don't disagree, because if his wife would have laughed it off, he wouldn't have seen it as a disrespect. She was capable of taking the joke. Once he realized that her feelings were hurt or she didn't like that joke, he said, oh, I can't take another element of disrespect anymore from the public. It was like the accumulation of all the shit takes he's had to hear from people and all the jokes, right? And so he's like, oh, she got disrespected. I just got disrespected again. And so he blew a gasket. So I would agree with that too.
How do you think it for we'll say black culture in general. I hate every time I hear black culture, I'm immediately thinking of a race realist, by the way. It's like the word. But like, if we think of that these tropes exist in black culture in general, do you think it's strange?
Just to clarify your point. So the whole thing about black culture, that is a very like, I think we're both going to just state this so it's clear for the conversation.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That is exclusively Western, in that when I go to Africa, this need to affirm the masculinity is not nearly as prevalent as it is here.
Sure.
And so when we say black culture, we're just talking about most of the African American experience within the greater Western context, not necessarily for all people of black skin. Go ahead.
How do you think why did Will Smith make it public that he and his wife had an open relationship? Because something that I noticed too, as somebody that's in an open relationship, is aside from all of the weird black comments, there is a lot of people that rag on him for that. Like he's a cuck, you know, he's gonna get to sleep on the couch tonight. Oh, like he's defending his his best friend's girlfriend's honor, like shit like that or whatever. Yeah. Why would they even make that public?
I think Jada specifically had you know her series, The Red Table Talk.
The one where all the Will Smith memes come from.
Yes. Yeah. So basically it's her mother and her daughter sit around and basically be like, oh, you know, we like taking dicks from other men, blah, blah, blah. They talk about a whole range of like emotional topics. And in an attempt to be transparent and open, they kind of like opened up their closet, which had a lot of like dirt in it, to the public.
Yeah.
And for somebody who had an image like that before, I don't think Will Smith was necessarily on top of it, but if his wife wanted to do it, he's like, cool. Will Smith wrote something super interesting in his book. He said he's always felt like a coward. And it's such an interesting, and it's one of his biggest insecurities. So Jada used to be like a big fan of like, I think she even fucked Tupac, and like that made him incredibly insecure. And again, it comes back to that whole masculinity thing. So I think he just deferred to his wife on the topic to say like, yeah, go ahead, talk about our relationship and everything. Let's be open and transparent.
Damn. Okay. And then apparently, so is it true she fucked one of Jaden's friends?
Yeah. So this is the part that I think is like hella weird and should be conceived as like predatory, but it's not. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
How old is Jaden now? Is he like 20 yet, or is he still like 15?
yeah, he's
I
like
don't even
around
know.
that age. He's
Okay.
like around like 2021.
Okay, gotcha.
So here's what's crazy.
Oh no, is this like a family friend of like 20 years or some weird shit?
It's even more devious than that. Okay,
Oh, no.
Check this out. So
Okay.
August is friends with Jaden. He's an artist. He's an R&B artist.
Okay.
August has like issues with alcohol in his personal life and family, and so the family takes him in his vulnerable state. Okay, as a young man, and basically houses him. All right, and essentially basically helps him to rehab. And during that time, I guess she started fucking her son's best friend, who's like dealing with addiction and depression and all these other issues.
Yeah, jeez. Okay.
And that's when the entanglement's starting to happen. And so, yeah, I don't know. To me, that's just so strange that you taking somebody who's got addiction stuff and it's like your son's best friend and that's the mom. Like, you start fucking him. Like, that is so strange.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, damn, that's a lot to make public. I don't think very many people could deal with that level of.
They didn't. So
Okay.
what happened is the August made that shit public because he felt like after they stopped seeing each other, he felt like Jada was making like sly comments
Okay.
on the table. So he's like, I'll just tell everyone the whole truth.
And
of what
it makes him look good, probably, right? Like, I fucked, Will Smith's wife, I fucked Jada Smith's mom. Probably, I imagine you get.
Might be. I don't think he really took it that way. I think the man was just really hurt. Yeah, just judging from the interview I saw, it didn't seem like he was trying to be malicious like that. It was more so like, yo, she's talking crazy about me, so let me just clear the air so like my name's not dragged through the mud.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's when it came out. That's why the word entanglement came out, because you could tell she felt really uncomfortable about it, but she had to talk about it now. And so she used that word to kind of soften the blow of like basically her infidelity or the weirdness or whatever she was doing. But I would consider that, like, if you got somebody who's like addicted and they're like considering that age difference, like that to me is a lot more sus. But I don't know.
Sure. Well, damn. So that's all their lore. Yeah, he was apparently asked to leave, but he didn't. I guess I can understand.
There's conflicting reports on that.
Sure.
There's conflicting. Some reports say he did. Some say he wasn't asked to leave. So I don't know how true that is.
Gotcha.
The joke that Chris Rock said wasn't even written by him, though. That's confirmed. So one of the writers wrote it for him, and he didn't know she had alopecia. Which
is it confirmed that supposedly they already went through all of this at rehearsal, like the same jokes and everything?
They did, but not with the audience there.
Oh, so Will Smith wouldn't have been there.
No, because they don't do they don't do rehearsals with the audience there. It kind of defeats the purpose. You do the rehearsal so that everybody runs through the tech. You run through the jokes, the timing, the prompters, so you know where to look and shit like that. You're gonna know which table has Will Smith there, but they're not gonna be there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's how they run the rehearsals. But also, I don't know if you feel the same way, but like everyone was making alopecia sounds like such a big deal. I'm like, listen, 85% of men are going to deal with balding and alopecia at some point. 55% of women. Like, let's stop making it sound like it's terminal cancer. Like that shit blew me away. The way folks made it sound like it was a terminal. It's her medical condition. It's like, bitch, you're bald. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it seems a
And
little...
she's not even fully bald. She had like little patches she was losing, so she shaved it all off. Like, the bitch is bald. I don't care.
Yeah, it was like such a harmless joke in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, it just seemed really strange to get, but it seemed like she got upset. But I don't know anything about the nature of their relationship or anything, so yeah.
I can imagine somebody's like insecure, about the baldingness, and women. I feel like with their hair, it's a big deal. But it's like, listen, during that same joke, they were making LeBron James hairline jokes the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a running joke to make. And here's the thing, I've heard this often. I don't know what your take is on this, but I know balding men, their self-esteem is not exactly through the roof. It's one of the largest insecurities you could have as a dude. And when I was trying to bring that up, it's like people made it sound like you can never make fun of a woman if she's losing her hair. She has a hair condition. Like, why not though?
The line that we still haven't, even when I was a kid, we were trying to figure this out. There's a very hard line between like empowering minorities, or a very fine line between like empowering minorities and treating them like they have to be so carefully pampered and taken care of. And I still don't think we've figured that out. Or maybe that line doesn't exist. Maybe it's impossible. Maybe you can't do both at the same time, where you're respectful to like the issues certain groups of people have, but you try really hard not to treat them like children. So yeah, I don't know. It's that's that concept of like, you know, if a woman is ever insulted, we have to protect our queens, but it's like also equal rights. But like, yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah, we constantly fiddle back and forth between both. Like so many women, I was really surprised by this, but I was surprised, but I think upon reflecting, I could understand it a bit. So many women felt it was so beautiful that he wanted to defend his wife. And
fuck that shit. I don't buy that shit at all. Fuck that.
Here's my olive range. I could understand that there's probably a lot of women who've been in relationships where they felt like their partners abandoned them or didn't defend them when they felt like they needed defending or support. And so seeing somebody go to that lengths to supposedly defend their partner probably was touching for them because that's behavior they wish they would have seen in their relationship. So I could understand that sentiment, I guess, a little bit. But I don't understand how it's a sensible thing to expect that kind of treatment when it's like he went up and slapped a stranger. For most poor people, if they did that, a fight breaks out and he's likely going to jail. Is that your like idea of being defended? Your partner?
Yeah, and again, like I want to be like clear because I don't even like that framing. Okay, it's not a stranger that made fun of his wife. Like I'm a big fan of. This sounds fucked up, but I'm a big fan of retribution. Okay, whenever I hear some shit, and I do this all the time. When somebody's like, "Oh my god, did you hear that this guy called this dude or whatever, or this guy, you know, beat this guy up?" My first question is always, "Okay, well, what'd the other guy do first?" That's always what I want to know, because that's gonna tell me whether or not I give a fuck about what the second guy did or whatever. Because it might have been that the first guy earned, you know, either an ass whipping or whatever. So like, if Chris Rock was some random dude and he said some shit like this, then you know, I might be a little bit warmer to it. But like, this isn't a random guy. This is a fucking comedian doing a fucking award show, like making jokes. Like that's not like you're not defending anybody's honor there. You're being an asshole in Will Smith's case. Like I just think that in this context, I view it in a pretty negative manner. Like, yeah, everything that happened, how that went down.
And I think what's happening is that most people don't really care for the context of how the comment was made. Because in their heads, all they really saw is that somebody hurt her feelings. You understand? I understand exactly what you're saying, and I fully 100% agree. A comedian telling a joke during a comedy set is not the same thing as some dude coming up to you in the street and be like, "Hey, what's up, G.I. Jane?" I think we both agree those two things are fucking different, right? And I agree with that. And I think people should take that into consideration when they're analyzing this thing. What I'm saying is that from the public's eye and the way people see this, they just saw a mean thing said to a woman. That's all they see. They don't really care the fact that he's a comedian. I've even seen Twitter takes that were super popular where people were like, "Why do we even need comedians anymore? Twitter's way fun."
yeah, dumb shit.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like this, like one of the most popular tweets during this whole thing was the bitch being like, "I've seen funnier things from my grandma on Twitter than these fucking comedians. Why do we need them anymore?" Like,
oh yeah, because people are like, "Oh well, maybe you guys just need to learn. It's actually not funny to make fun of people. You're just not funny anymore." And it's like, okay, like,
and I'm always confused by that. I'm like, do you not realize that every joke pretty much has a victim? Somebody's being made fun of.
Something's being made fun of. Yeah.
What jokes do you know of that? Like, there's nobody being made fun of in that process. All right. And I hate the idea that we've kind of made jokes seem like this malicious thing inherently, like it's stating somebody's personal opinions right away, or it's like some indication of malice because you felt tired. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not a fan that folks have taken it there.
Yeah, I think that like we've lost like the ability to kind of like have more measured takes of things. I think that somebody's humor can be a really good indicator of them being a fucked up person. I absolutely believe that, but not an individual joke, right? Like there are a lot of really funny, really bad jokes. There are a lot of really funny, like racist, misogynistic or whatever jokes. Like they exist.
Agreed.
But like if somebody only tells those jokes, okay, yeah, like this guy's probably got some problems, right? Like you can go on like edgy boards on 4chan and read the same fucking Indian or black person joke a million times, and at some point it's like, okay, this isn't funny. It's just it's just racist, okay? Like I agree with that, but like now people are at a point to where like if you ever hear any joke, if somebody says any joke that's bad, that whole person must be like a horrible person. Instead of like, well, maybe this could be like incorporated into a broader sense of a person's sense of humor or something. You know, it doesn't have to be the defining characteristic of their whole personality.
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree with that take. I think when it comes to the type of comedy that people tell, it's for a variety of reasons. Sometimes you just tell edgy jokes not because it's an indication of your personality, but it's just because they work. When you say stuff that's taboo, it just gets laughs at people, laughs that they don't want to give, but they just think it's funny. So maybe you just find a shtick that works and you keep going with it. I don't think it's necessarily a reflection of your real views. You're just saying like, oh, these jokes work really well. It's the same reason why like a lot of female comedians is always talking about their pussy
periods and
like
shit, yeah.
Yeah,
Sarah
it's like,
Silverman's like every other joke, like, so yesterday I was taking a shit and blood came out of my fucking vagina at the same time, all over the fucking toilet. Yeah, shit like that.
Yeah. So to me, if I see that, I'm not gonna be like, oh, this bitch really wants to be a gynecologist. I just think like that's just what works for her, and so she just rehashes that all the time. But I do agree that I think for some folks it may be an indication of something larger. Yeah. Comedians have been really an uproar about this because I don't even think it's necessarily just a comedy thing. I think people have seen a propensity towards like dissenting opinions or like things that made me feel some type of way turn to like a violent reaction and it being condoned. And I think in society that's becoming more and more normalized. Whether it be like the punch the Nazi thing or punch a Trump supporter or punch whatever, it's like it's becoming normal to talk like that.
Yeah, there's this fucking picture on Twitter of like the Giga Chad guy, and the caption is he's smiling obviously, and the caption is like, how I feel knowing that my enemies are ontologically evil and nothing against them can ever be too much or whatever. And I think we've moved in that position in society where it's like, as long as we've declared somebody as like the bad guy, you can basically do, damn, Somber Smith 9. You can basically do whatever the fuck you want to them because they're an evil person, right? I've noticed that like on Twitter and shit, the way that people talk or whatever, like, oh, like people, like some people are making like death threats and comments and shit are saying like, oh, somebody should fuck this guy, blah, blah. And then some people are like, oh, that's a little bit fucked up. And it's like, okay, who cares? He's transphobic, right? He deserves everything. And it's like, Jesus Christ, right? Yeah. And it's like, okay, I guess that's where we're at right now. Yeah. It makes it really, really weird. And then like and then when you're dealing with these communities, you always have to have like the most sterilized kid gloves on and you can't stumble anywhere on like a negative thing. But if you do, it's like carte blanche for them to basically just go like as hard as they fucking possibly can. Like I am like almost 100% confident that, no, I'm not almost. I'm 100% confident. Like if I were to get in a car accident, like me and Melina were to die, like these people would celebrate because I'm like literally Hitler to them. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Like
undoubtedly, they would celebrate and they would publish about it publicly and have their hottest Twitter takes because they can't wait.
It'd be like when Rush Limbaugh died. Yeah, the same feeling.
It's fascinating to watch. Like even like the whole Antifa thing. It's I'm not somebody who likes to harp on them too much, but I remember just watching like that whole protest with the Wee Spa and like the trans woman who turned out to be like a sex offender. And like they surrounded like cis women who were basically saying like we felt unsafe. And they started like harassing them and like pretty much getting up in their face and almost slapping the shit out of them. And I saw a bunch of people like, well, they're transphobes, so what? I'm like, whoa, you guys are just like all for it. Like you don't even, it's not even punch a Trump supporter or anything like that. It's like, if you're not on our team, violence against you is kind of okay.
Exactly, yeah.
And it came down to the same thing even with this. I saw measured people who would never say violence is acceptable saying like, listen, guys, I don't condone violence, but you know, he shouldn't have said that joke and it's unacceptable what he said. And it's almost like they're slowly inching there. They're softening the messaging. Where it's like, yeah, violence is not okay, but I can understand, and I think we just all need to heal. Bitch, what are you talking about? What is all this like kumbaya talk that you're talking? Like the way that people are trying to equate Chris. I even saw a shit take from Crystal Ball from Breaking Points.
Sorry.
No,
you're saying echoed because I heard you say the same thing twice. Shit take and Crystal Ball. Every single take she gives is a shit take. But go ahead.
Okay. This girl said the slap was proportionate to the joke.
Yeah.
And I almost lost my shit.
Yeah.
Oh man, I need to chill. Let me just take a second. No. I don't understand. Like, I don't know. To me, and I think this is such a privileged example of privilege in that moment, because most other people who get up on stage and get slapped like that by, you know, like a comedian gets slapped like that, security's rushing in, you're going to jail.
Yeah, I was going to say, there was a lot of privilege on display, but the privilege was Will Smith not getting the absolute shit kicked out of him by fucking police or security guards that would show up to drag his ass out of there, like tased and everything. Like, because if it was like a normal, yeah, that's absolutely what happened, right? If that was just like a normal, you know, comedian and a dude and a guy walks up and assaults him or whatever, yeah.
So now comes the second half of the conversation. So some people ask me, like, okay, when are words too much? Like, let's say in the context of a comedy show, for example. and then we'll take a general sense context.
The line would be somewhere before Kramer's outburst, I would say. That was probably too far.
Kramer's outburst had me rolling, bro. That shit was crazy. When I watched what happened, I started thinking about it, and I was like, when would it be too much? Well, when I tell a comedian, he probably has to chill out. If I'm at a comedy show, right, and I'm watching a comic on stage and he's ragging on people, right, the person's allowed to say, hey, man, cut it out. I don't want to be made fun of. And after that, I generally think the comedian should probably slow it down and start to tail off and move away.
For sure.
If it becomes too much, is it acceptable for you to go fight them at that point? I would still say no. You could just fucking leave, okay? But I would understand way more if you said, yo, listen, cut that shit out. I'm not trying to... And the comedian kept going. And most comics would probably agree with that take. It's like, yeah, if somebody doesn't want you to keep roasting them and he's like, please stop, just keep them pushing after a while. You know what I'm saying? Most comics would agree with that. Now, in a more general context, all right, let's say somebody's saying something you don't like. When do you know? I can see a lot of scenarios where people would say things to me or my family, and I would understand violence in those circumstances. Let's say if you're out and somebody's talking shit to your kid, some adult, okay, and you're like, yo, cut that shit out. We're trying to eat. Don't talk to my kid. And they keep talking. I'd probably be understanding if somebody wanted to whip that motherfucker's ass. Do you agree or disagree?
I understand a lot. I'm a very understanding person when it comes to shit like that, yeah. It just depends on what's going on, yeah.
Right. Even though I could like ethically say it's probably not the correct thing to do because somebody said some shit to your kid, I could understand wanting to whoop that ass.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
I apply that standard to myself. There are certain things that if I were to do these things, I would expect to get my ass kicked. Right. That's why people always get like really mad at me over takes we've had related to like breaking into people's houses, or if you can like kill somebody for stealing your shit or whatever. And I always just like the way that I was always approach the thoughts for those conversations is like I would just put myself in like the shoes of somebody doing something like that. Like if I was trying to steal somebody's car, my assumption would be that if I get caught, this guy's gonna fucking kill me. That's just what I would assume, right? This is like a dire or a live or die situation. Or like if I'm out publicly and I start like hardcore, roasting some dude out of nowhere, right? I would expect that like, okay, like this motherfucker might attack me. Like that's the deal that I've kind of made when I engage in this behavior, that it's gonna escalate to some extent if it could, right? And when people don't function that way, yeah, I don't know. That actually drives me fucking insane. It's one of the biggest issues that I don't like about like, I'm sure you've heard of the term cry bully, right?
No, I've never heard that.
Oh, it's great. People basically weaponize things online. They attack the fuck out of you, and then when you attack them, they claim that you're being like racist or transphobic or misogynist. It's like, they're cry bullies. They basically they'll attack the fuck out of everybody else, but then when they get anything on them, they immediately rally the troops and rally the communities to show everybody that you're like an evil person that's attacked them and you shouldn't be, et cetera, yeah.
Right. They show the reaction, not the thing that led to the reaction.
Yeah, of course. Or even if even the thing that led to the reaction or whatever doesn't even matter at that point because you've attacked somebody that's like an unattackable and untouchable. So it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people do that who initiate something and then cry victim afterwards. Yeah. I mean, I've seen women engage in physical violence and cry bully afterwards when they get smacked the fuck up. And I'm like, well, you put your hands on them. Don't be crying now, bitch. But I agree with you. I had to ensure that one in. But I think for me personally, when it comes to violence, I find the line. I don't feel like you can get away with saying anything to anybody. I think we want to live in an idealistic society where you can, but I think most of us agree there are certain circumstances where words can go too far and you can't push the line too much. Would you agree with that notion?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And for you would say that in those situations, violence would be sensible.
I'm always like really careful the way that I phrase this. Maybe it sounds like a cop out. I don't think you should ever be violent. I don't think it's good. But like understandable, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the yeah.
Yeah, and I think we all agree to that. So my issue is not like, yo, you can't defend your wife if somebody says something crazy, but it's like, what's the context of the situation? Did somebody pass a glance at her? Did somebody look at her too long? Did somebody say something crazy to her? Did somebody, while you were at a restaurant, call her a bitch for no reason? Or was she yelling at somebody else and somebody called her a bitch and she actually was being a bitch? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the context of it, right? And I think we all can look at that and say, like, we can parse the difference generally. But somebody making a fucking G.I. Jane joke and you lose your mind?
Yeah,
it's
that's insane.
You know, if somebody would have sat there and be like, "Hey, Will, I'm glad one of your 2 children's died because you don't have to be a mother to somebody else." It's like, that's crazy.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I'm
I can
saying? Like,
understand that
I
point
could
of
understand losing your mind over something traumatic like that.
view.
As a comedian, even I would be like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? And comedians aren't tone deaf to this. It's why we have dark humor comedy shows. We understand that not everyone can handle it. Right? I wouldn't expect somebody making dead baby jokes all the time at a fucking open mic, because you're not going to be at that open mic much longer. There's places for everything. Right? So even comedians have to sequester their stuff to certain areas because like the public can't handle it. So we understand that there's certain places where you can and can't do shit. But a G.I. Jane joke and everybody treated it like it was the worst thing. So it dawned on me that provided somebody feels hurt, it doesn't matter how badly the offense was hurtful. All that matters is the reception of the feelings, if that makes sense.
Yeah. There's like, I think there's a lot of weird, like, there's a lot of weird social stuff baked into how we treat all this today. So that idea that like something that we're very hyped up on today in society is that like your feelings are valid. Your feelings are valid. They're always valid. They're always valid. And it's like there's so much that I agree with behind these statements that is true, but then people always take it so fucking far, and then they like destroy the original concept. Like, yeah, your feelings are like, there's a reason why you feel something, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to like change your feelings, and it doesn't mean that they always make sense, right? We can feel a lot of things for a lot of reasons. Another thing is the idea, kind of the really big talking point that got us here is that like words are violence. Words can be violence. And to some extent, I agree with that. They can be. And I think there are people that have those experiences, and I can be empathetic towards that. But then you see how people will take that to mean...
Hold up. Can you explain... Can you just hold it? I'm going to go grab something real quick.
Go for it.
When I come back, can you explain to me how words are violence, and then we'll get to it?
Be careful.
All right. Okay, so yes, when you're saying words are violence, I'd love for you to kind of explain that one to me.
I think that oh my god, Jesus, sorry, hold on. What, like, I think that people's experiences on a day-to-day basis, if you're like beat down enough by how people treat you and the things people say to you, I think that that's like a legitimate experience that is worth like acknowledging, rather than just saying like, oh, well, they're only words. I think it's okay to acknowledge that people can feel attacked on a day-to-day basis depending on the type of life they live and the way that people treat them, the things that people say to them. I think it's okay to acknowledge that. So like incessant bullying in school, or the ways that people treat each other based on like race or sex that are just words. But I think that sometimes we can hand wave things as being just words. And I think that, fuck me, I'm stupid. I think that sometimes it's okay to acknowledge that like there are painful experiences there that are important to acknowledge. Yeah.
I think I can agree with the thing that it's okay to acknowledge them while not categorizing them as violence. Sure. I think that's probably the distinction I would make. I think verbal abuse is something that I think most terms, like people would agree, like that's the thing that exists. You could be verbally abusive to somebody, but I don't know if I would categorize them as violence. I think violence for me has a very physical connotation. I think it's important. I think it's a barrier that's very specific and triggers a very different set of responses generally. And so I don't know if I would put it in the same. But it's not to lessen the implication. And I think anybody who responds to somebody who's been verbally abused for an extended period of time over a long duration with like some heinous stuff and then just says it's just words, I think they're just mitigating that person's like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which I think is like the good, I think there's an element of truth to that, right? So like the most common thing, like the most common example of this is like the archetypical like white gamer bro that's like 22 and, you know, like wants to call a black guy the N-word, and he's like, well, it's just a word, why do you care? But then like that other person's lived experience, or call like a gay person like a faggot, and that person's lived experience is like, bro, like you don't understand how it feels when I hear that, like the type of engagement that I've had with this word. It's hard to put that into words, and when you say things like this, like it brings up a lot that, you know, it's hard for me to control. I think it's okay to acknowledge those lived realities, but then obviously, yeah, we see where we've taken it to where now it's like, oh, microaggressions are violence, and violence can be met with violence, and it's justified, right? Like this guy microaggressed you, and now we're gonna beat the shit out of him, but it's okay because he microaggressed or whatever. It's like insane. Yeah. Right.
And I think once we open up that door, it leads to bad takes like that. Like exactly what you talked about. When I was hearing like very sensible people say stuff like a slap is proportionate to a joke, like blew me away. Yeah. Just like I couldn't believe the stuff that I was hearing out of people's mouth. But it's because we condition people to really believe that words can be violence, and that in a civilized society, if somebody says a word you don't like, or a thing you don't like, or an opinion you don't like, that it's proportionate to a slap or to a punch. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't think those things are proportionate. I don't think they're the same. I do think it's understandable, however, in certain circumstances when words are used to respond in kind. Maybe that is making it proportionate indirectly in my own way. Because I'm saying, like, if it's okay to respond in that way to somebody yelling a bunch of profanities at your child or your mom, that if you want to hit them, like, I could understand, like, I think it's acceptable.
Sure. Well,
maybe I am equating them in a way.
Yeah, I think again, I think that there's a huge difference
class
between,
handy.
and you might feel this way, but like I think there's a huge difference between like understanding and saying that something is acceptable or good. I guess is like the difference. I guess as like a parent, it's always easy for me to think in the context of a child, right? Like if there was like if somebody like ever like killed or like raped your child, and you were a parent, I would 1,000,000% understand like a parent like killing that person if they had the opportunity to. I get it, but like, is it okay to do that? Is it good? Probably not. We don't want a society built around vigilante justice, but you understand it, you know.
Right. So I think, how do we bridge the gap between the ideal world that we want to live in and the reality of the world that we do live in? Because I think it's fine to say that we should aspire to these things, but we all know that's never going to happen for most of us. There's never going to be a time where we're going to be such paragons of morals that we can actually live up to that. So what's the sense in even striving to get to that place if our reality is never going to get close to that?
Well, I mean, you always strive. You're never going to be perfect, but you always strive towards perfection because every stop along the way is better than the stop you were at before. Understanding that we'll never get there, right? But
yeah, you can't hear me chewing, right?
I don't stream all the time. Don't worry.
All right.
And Hassan eats on stream all the time, so it must be a successful thing streamers do. So.
Oh, speaking of Hassan, he called me a transphobe today.
Yeah, we saw it. He only watched I think he watched the whole 10 seconds of your video.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. I was gleeful. Listen, when it comes to Shank's nephew, I don't know why he feels the need to I think my suspicion is that I think he's been targeted a lot by a lot of people, justly so in a lot of cases, I'm imagining. But I think when you get to be that big and you have that much criticism coming at you from every direction, even from your own community at times, I think it must take a huge mental toll.
No, I think he's just really soft. I think his whole life he's been incredibly pampered, and he's not used to getting much pushback anywhere at all. Like he's kind of had everything handed to him. He's had a pretty easy go at almost everything, so he's got a really hard time, I think, dealing with almost any criticism.
Fair, but you would also agree that he's pretty much grown very quickly.
Yeah, of course.
Right, and I think managing that kind of stuff while receiving so much.
Can you call me buddy?
It's I think when you go that mainstream, where your proudest moment is playing Among Us with AOC.
There are responses that I can see, but he goes so much farther. This motherfucker will be in YouTube comment sections, mass downvoting posts with his fan base to get internet criticism removed of him. He had there was a video that we watched of his from some group called Context, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life, because he's talking about how he had the original idea to combine games and politics, and he built everything on Twitch from the ground up. It was just funny to listen to him say that his whole career or whatever. And I know that initially, I think we watched a video on stream, and I'm sure some of my fans showed up in that video to make comments. He went through afterwards on his Discord and on Twitter, and was having people mass downvote or thumbs down or dislike comments that were showing up, so that they wouldn't be there anymore. And he'll do that on Reddit as well, where he'll have people go through sometimes a bad post will show up about him in public freak out, and he'll go through that Reddit post on stream, and he'll have his fans mass downvote stuff, so he doesn't have to see any criticism. It's unreal.
Yeah.
It's complex, not context, whatever.
Yeah, I think context. I think his response has been completely irrational, and I think been very poor in taste. I think his situation is also untenable, in that I don't think he can keep going the way he's going. It seems like it's taking a huge mental toll on him.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's eventually going to blow up.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm here for it.
You hoping for the man's blow up?
Absolutely.
Thanks for the context.
I mean, hey, if it leads to a moment like catharsis where there's maybe some humbling that happens, and I think it's always good. But
I just want to see him, so I don't think he'll be ever humbled. But yeah, I guess.
You don't think so? You don't think so?
No, absolutely not.
I get it. I mean, you guys got a long history together, so I guess for you it's far more personal. For me, when I heard him say I'm a transphobe or whatever, I kind of cringed and just laughed a little bit. But I don't know. I think with online content creators, especially ones that grow really quickly, I know me being 31 and like having to handle it. I'm pretty good at it. I understand how to keep my distance from certain things and not be too involved in the response from millions of people. But I can tell he's not managing it well. So I think for him, it's just like it's inevitable that he's going to blow up. But if you're hoping for it to be just terrible, so he suffers, then that's one response, I guess. I don't know. I think maybe it's because of the fact that I've seen how like insidious and a lot of this online stuff is, and I think for you it might be a little bit different because you seem to handle it a lot better than most people. But you would agree that your response to a lot of the following and all that stuff is very unique, right?
Yeah, of course.
And so I am slightly sympathetic to content creators, online people, or just people who are really well known who don't seem to manage it really well, because I do think that for most human beings it's not easy to manage. I wouldn't even say easy. It's very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
It's very difficult, one. And two, oftentimes there's very little empathy from the public because they don't understand it, because they don't have to deal with it on a macro scale like that.
Of course.
And so I think generally I tend to be a little bit empathetic towards to content creators as a result, even if I dislike them. Like me personally, I find Hassan super corny. I think he's one of those like SJW types who thinks they're fighting for minorities who like don't identify with him at all. You know, like I always find it super cringe when I hear like these SJW types like kind of say all this stuff. I just know like minorities don't look at you and think like, oh, we want you fighting on our behalf. They cringe at you, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's how I look at him.
Oh my god, dude! You don't even. I super hate Hassan, by the way. So I'm obviously you know that. You said I dislike. I don't dislike him. I hate him. Okay, so just to be clear that one of the funniest things this motherfucker ever said, because it's really important when you're like very woke and very SJW that you can always speak for like every minority, even though you never ever have these people as your friends because they're usually too poor and they don't live in the cool places that you want to go to. I remember that when it was like Bernie season, one of the funniest fucking things this guy said was, yeah, like when I go to my gym, have you ever heard of Equinox? Yeah, so expect like $300-$400 a month gym. He's like, when I go to Equinox, none of the white people that work out there, none of those guys like Bernie Sanders. But when I talk to Hispanic people when I'm leaving, they're all big Bernie fans or whatever. That shit was just the funniest shit in the fucking world when he fucking said. Oh shit, dude. I don't know. He's a guy. He's a character. Oh, the janitor. Yeah, I think he said. Yeah.
I remember it was like 2014. No, it was like 2012. I used to have like dance practice at the university, and so I'd go there in like one of the open art section. And this is the first time I ever even encountered like some of these ideas. I didn't even know they existed, because if you didn't go to school, and at the time it wasn't that like relevant, nobody really knew about a lot of the social justice type topics. And so I would see these people, and like the stereotype of the colored hair and all that stuff was hilarious to me, and I would hear what they were talking about. And I remember just constantly like seeing the demographics of these groups traditionally.
Yeah.
And it was like exclusively white men and white women, but a lot of white women with like weird looks to their faddened faces. And there may be like one or two minorities sprinkled in there. But I always thought it was funny because I always felt like their dialogue was so disconnected from the people they were trying to represent.
Sure.
Like you gave the example of the Hispanic and stuff like that. Like Hispanic voter turnout is like turning more and more right-wing,
conservative, yeah,
every year, right? I even talk to them sometimes, and you know, I talk to like these folks who don't want to fight for black folks and all this other stuff. I'm like, how do you feel about their views on homosexuality?
Yeah, it gets real uncomfortable.
And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you don't know this?
Bro, like, the most racist Bernie fans when Bernie lost and he got like 2% of the black vote, dude, that was the closest a lot of these people ever got to fucking saying the N-word. These low information voters, they just don't understand what's good for them. Oh man, were they fucking mad during some of those primaries. Holy shit.
Yeah, because of the disconnect, right? Like intellectually, they see like the policies that Bernie has, and they're like, "Oh, well, it would be a huge benefit to the black folks." But it's like you don't understand like the community and how like voting actually works and who influences that. You don't understand like the power of the church in a lot of these areas and how that like influences voter turnout. You don't understand like just the more social policies that a lot of these people adopt in their personal lives and how they feel about a lot of things. They just don't know. So that's why I cringe at a lot of these like hyper left-leaning types who don't seem to have any connection to the communities that they're saying they're defending. Because I'm like, one, you don't speak for them. They don't feel identified by you. So two, it just feels like, you know, like you're using them as a shield to be able to say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Yeah.
And 3, they're actually repulsed by you because you're the exact type of person that they don't want to associate with. So I don't know. I just think it's funny that these people always talk about like taking care of minorities and saving minorities and protecting them. I was like, well, they don't want you. They don't care about you. They don't identify with you. Well.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do, man?
Yeah.
Colleges are getting crazy these days.
Well, yeah. So the reason why you called me transphobe is because I said transitioning is unnatural. I said like gender dysphoria, all this stuff, obviously very natural, but transitioning is unnatural. Is that a strange statement? I didn't even think that was controversial.
No, yeah, that's he's really stupid. He said a lot of really stupid things about trans stuff. He just doesn't know much about it. It's just kind of like the position of the week for him because he's like the woke bae or whatever shit.
Yeah, I find the whole discussion around transport so confusing for me sometimes because people are like, well, trans women are women. But it's like, yeah, we're not talking about their gender expression. This is about biology. Like, this is about male and female sports, not about what you identify as. Like, I don't know why they keep saying stuff like that. And, you said something I thought that was really important, and I think it's probably like the flashpoint, is that a lot of this stuff and the disingenuous arguments for this is what fuels the TERFs more than anything. Because they see these folks fighting so hard for something that's clearly wrong. And they see like the disingenuous ways. And so it makes you question their integrity in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
How can I trust anything you say when I just saw you vehemently defend that the sky is orange and do so in the most manipulative and slimy ways possible and at the expense of everyone? It's like and I have to fight that instinct all the time. You know what I'm saying? That kind of like tribalistic instinct where if you say one thing that's wrong, I don't throw your entire shit out the window. You get me?
Yeah, and that's kind of some of the arguments that they've been making. Like that's always one of the things I stress is that like we're gonna argue for things. Like we have to like maintain some grasp on reality. Otherwise, people are gonna look at everything you say as crazy. But people are kind of like tossing everything out the window now. Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's shit. We need more.
I'm not gonna lie, you though.
What?
This is one you're probably not gonna agree with me at all. But
Oh yeah, let's go for it.
I had that exact same instinct. I don't even know if it's true. I didn't even research it. I haven't bothered to like look into it. But when they said they weren't letting black folks on trains in Ukraine, I was like, man, fuck them niggas. And
What do you mean by that?
hey, I said that. I said fuck them. I said, hey man, Russia take over, which is absolutely ignorant, right? But I can tell you this, that I, along with a lot of black folks, went, yeah, choo-choo. Nuclear war. Hey, man, they should have let us on them trains. Fuck them. That's how a lot of folks felt. And I understand that instinct. I 100% understand it. But, again, I didn't really research it that deeply, so I don't know much more.
What do you mean? Do you just mean that like those people were probably like freeloaders and not like Ukrainian citizens trying to be refugees? Or what do you mean? I'm trying to...
Well, listen, all I know about the reports and what I was seeing on CNN and a bunch of other news channels were that they weren't letting black folks on them trains.
Okay, I don't know where where that comes from. Because usually the conservative attack was that there was, hold on, you're not talking about actual black people, are you? You're just
Yeah, I'm talking about black people.
Oh, you are talking about black people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Chad is, they're not letting us on the trains.
Yeah, Chad is confusing.
Keep hating
me.
your life, then. Working class.
He's saying fuck Ukraine for not letting. Wait, hold on. Can you give me this take again? Hold on,
Okay,
start over. Yeah, hold on. I'm confused now.
Yeah. So essentially, they wouldn't let. Remember when they were doing trains to evacuate from Ukraine?
Yes. Yeah. The reports were that they weren't letting some black people on trains. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Even at the border, the Ukrainian border patrol would not let black folks get into Poland. Though, despite the fact that once some of them did manage to get into Poland, they were well received and they were well treated by the Polish people there. The border patrol for Ukraine was like being apparently terrible.
Yeah.
Can't confirm or deny, but it seemed like all the news reports confirmed this. And so that was a thing for a while. And I'm saying, when I read that shit, I was like, fuck Ukraine. That's like the initial response that I had.
Oh, okay. I understand now. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sure.
And everyone's like, oh man, fucking, what about nuclear war? It's gonna blow. I'm like, hey, Brian, they should have let us on. It's like, it was so basic and primitive like that. And a lot of people had that take. So that's what I was saying. Is that more clear now?
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. What say you to that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's dumb. But I mean, I can empathize with you, sure.
Go on. Please expand on the dumbness.
Well, you're being tribalistic as fuck, right? There's not. Is there anything else to say?
Okay.
I mean, I understand it, right? Like, yeah.
This is something I have an issue with,
Mm-hmm.
and this is something yeah. I think I understand the principle in that. I think if you want to be virtuous to any degree, you have to sometimes take out your own personal feelings out of a lot of these discussions in order to get to the root of whatever moral issue you're trying to uphold.
Sure.
So I understand that. I just have a tremendous hard time defending folks who I know see me as less than.
Yeah, I mean, I can empathize with that. The closest example that I've got for this is for the longest time, I've gone back and forth on this in my career, but like for a while, I didn't believe in deplatforming anyone. I thought that like every free speech is important, like we shouldn't ban conservatives, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like all that shit. That was like my stance for quite a while. And then when I got banned on things in like 2017, 2018 for random shit, when I started to get banned, I noticed a lot of these conservative motherfuckers that I were debating, they were like cheering me on. So eventually I got to the point where I was like, you know what? If these motherfuckers get banned, fuck them. I don't care. Because if I got banned, they wouldn't want me to get, they'd be fucking cheering it on. So fuck these guys. So I kind of like switched it. Nowadays, I'm a little bit more mature. I'm like, yeah, okay, I understand, but fuck all these guys. It's part of the game, but we still shouldn't probably be banning people because we think that people are being mean or saying shit or whatever. But like that's an example of like a position that I kind of have like gone back and forth on depending upon how people are treating me at a given point in time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So like when there are people that I fight with on Twitter and it's like, do I want anything to happen to these people? No, of course not. But like when they're on Twitter and shit, like cheering on, like, oh yeah, like we got his income, guys. We're taking out his job. It's like, okay, well, you know what? If you get hit by a fucking car, like, am I going to celebrate? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see how I feel about it later, but you're not doing yourself any favors. And I sure as fuck aren't crying for you. Okay. So yeah, it gets hard. But one thing that's like really upsetting is people don't even when I say stuff like that, people are like, Destiny, that's like so evil. Like people have like come out like, here's something that's like really frustrating. And it's hard because this goes back kind of to what you said about Hassan, where it's like when you're a streamer, it's hard to complain about your problems because no one can empathize, right? Somebody tweets out, or no, not somebody tweets out. So I'm in my chat and somebody donates something along the lines of something like, I don't remember what it was exactly, but it's something like, oh, like, don't worry, like, this girl's going to 41% herself soon anyway or something, right? 41% is it's like a mean reference to trans suicide statistics, right? Basically, the joke is that she's going to kill herself because she's trans. And the dono came through, and I think I laughed awkwardly a little bit. And I was like, yeah, like, it's tempting to get on that path, but I want to keep it above board. Like, I don't want to, like, go down that road, basically, is what I said.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And in my response to that, people clipped that thing as an example of me being ultra transphobic towards trans people. And the funny thing is that like even at that, I think it's so weird because I can't make that comment without like, and even my community, even when my community is like, Destiny went too far. And it's like, okay, like let's take one quick break. All right. Like these motherfuckers, like in a coordinated manner, just axed like over 100,000 a year of income for me and like knocked me off of like a platform that I've been building for 12 years. Like, do you really find it that unbelievable that I might get like a little bit psychopathic in terms of how I view these people? Like, I think most people would probably view it pretty similarly. I think that you could push a lot of people to say a lot worse with a lot less. Okay, slow the fuck down, But
yeah, I understand what you were feeling in that moment, and I think when folks kind of do that whole clip of you, obviously you know why. I think it's a convenient thing because they have like audio, visual of you saying what you said. In regards to, so to them, it doesn't matter what the context is. So we can just kind of skip past that point. But it's completely understand. Like if I'm just looking at the greater context, yeah, it's something I felt my whole life, and I think it's something that you hear Black folks say all the time when it comes to like somebody being found racist and like or like having wrote racist things and stuff like that, and they just want to throw them to the wolves. Like It's very difficult when people who don't show you any grace expect you to be their staunchest defenders.
Yeah, it's
very difficult. And human impulses, irrespective of whatever morals you want to have, like human impulses just aren't geared towards that. We all like a bit of revenge. We all like a bit of like in your fucking face. Whether we want to believe it or not, none of us are the Saint Mary. So it's perfectly understandable. And to be fair, when I'm seeing this stuff in regards to transport, some of it does make me want to be like, man, fuck these people. But obviously, you have to learn to fight that emotion as much as possible, because if you don't, then you're doing a disservice and you're encouraging the suffering of people who otherwise don't deserve it. So it's unfortunate. But I think the very mere fact that we are trying to fight these emotions is a good indication. It's a good indication of where we're trying to go as human beings and what we're trying to override, and like the human nature of us that we're trying to fight against. And I think that's something that should be applauded. That's something that should be highlighted when you see folks doing that. And I think it's probably what makes like law so appealing to me in some ways is like when I hear about lawyers who defend vehemently even the worst people, I think the principle behind that is something I find really admirable.
Yeah, of course. It has to be, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
God, there was this
because people get mad about that. They say, like, how dare you defend
dude. There was this
like,
stupid
no,
fuck
that's
streamer
the
girl.
most important thing.
There was this dumb fuck streamer girl once, I remember on Twitter, and she's tweeting out, like, how could you possibly be a defense lawyer and defend some of these horrible people when you know they're guilty? And it's like, what the fuck do you think the purpose of our entire fucking legal system is? Like, why would you say something so stupid? Yeah.
And I think it's such a beautiful thing, but folks can't understand it because they give into that impulse every day. They give into that kind of tribalistic impulse where, like, nope, if it comes to this, then you go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And your whole community too. And it's easy to do that.
It's also really hard too when these people don't have to hold back at all. Like, because like I can't, there's like a million things that like for instance, if I said I was going to stop talking about trans people, so you're fucking me up, okay? But when I'm dealing with trans people, I can't make fun of their image at all because it's almost always going to be transphobic, right? If I say anything about how you look, it's going to be transphobic. Just it will be. But like they can call me short, gnome, like fat, scrawny, whatever, white, cis, loser. Like they could bring out every single identity of mine and every single thing they want to dig into in order to like shit on me. And like if I accidentally, so like I'll call a lot of people like mentally ill is something I say. Sometimes when I call a trans person mentally ill, they're like, oh, you think transness is a mental illness, so you're being trans. It's like, fuck, Jesus, like even my normal insults I'm not allowed to say against you guys without like getting like super fucked, you know? And it's like so frustrating. You've got to like fight in some ways with both hands tied behind your back while they're meanwhile like just guns blazing and getting cheered on the entire time for it, you know?
Yeah. You know, it's kind of like you know, if you imagine it like in an RPG sense, when you got a character creation screen, when you don't choose this, but let's say when you were assigned the race white, like the positives on that are pretty high. Like, you know, there's a lot of positives to it, but the downsides is like you can't say shit online because everything. Yeah, like that's the downside of your race group. Okay, it's like you have a -2 to racial commentary. Okay, right, but you have a +3 to like employability. All right. As a black man, I could get away with a lot more. You feel me? I could say a lot of stuff, and I dare some of these motherfuckers say something to me talking about oppression. I'd be like, stupid. Racial commentary +5. That's
sure. But even that plays out in such toxic ways. Dude, one of the funniest clips I've ever seen in my life happened kind of recently where there was a there's a black guy on a panel talking to an Asian dude, and the black guy was like, don't you understand that you have a different engagement with the criminal justice system? And the guy's like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, because you're white. And then he was like, white presenting, I mean? A white presenting Asian guy? It's like, bro, what are you saying right now? Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, but he gets a pass to do that.
Yeah, but well, I guess like he got away with it, obviously. I guess, but that's just.
What do you mean? He didn't get away with it. That's normal, bruv. That's not getting away with it. That's normal.
Okay, listen, you can't call an Asian dude white when you're black. Okay,
I mean, you're Latino, and we call you white.
Okay, but I look white as fuck. I can get away with being white. Okay.
Well, hey, listen. You say we can't say that, but I'm telling you, we can. I know because I got this character creation screen, bro. I can see my stat. Okay? I can say that. I can look at an Asian person as far as the criminal justice system goes. I can look at them and say, you're a white passing. I can say that.
Oh my God, dude.
It's not getting away with it. It's
we
normal.
We found your ultra progressive side. All right, here this is what we were looking for. Okay.
It's not my ultra progressive side. I'm just telling you, it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's not my take. That's not my opinion. It is what it is. That's like saying, like, oh, fucking dwarves have a +2 to Constitution. Yay! It's not my opinion. It is what it is.
Okay, I see how it is.
Right. So when you say the black guy got away with saying that, it's not that they got away. Literally, he can get on national TV, he can get on CNN and say the Asian person's white passing, and most people will not bat an eye.
At least half the country of the U.S. would at least bat an eye for sure.
No, they bat an eye. You really think they would give a shit that a black man said an Asian person is white passing?
Well, yeah, I think because conservatives love Asian people. Yeah, they're the ideal minority group of the United States, right? For conservative people.
Fair. I mean, conservative people might be like, if it's political expedient for them, they might say some shit, but I don't think they would. To be honest with you, the whole take about like Asian people, facing a different reality than black folks or having a different experience with the justice system, I agree with that 150%.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it 100%, of course.
Yeah.
But I just to call an Asian guy white is just kind of funny to me. Wait, you're not in favor of the BIPOC shit, are you?
What's BIPOC? Is that like a biphobic or bi person of color?
No, it has nothing to do with bisexuals. I understand the confusion though, because it confuses you a long time. It stands for, so I guess black people wanted like their own thing because they didn't like being included with all the other minorities. So they made something called Black and Indigenous and Persons of Color. So it's basically, it's just a way to like bring like black and indigenous people out of like the minority group so that you wouldn't just call all of them like persons of color. I just thought it was kind of funny.
Who do you personally know that says that shit?
It was a big college thing, but I think it's fallen out of favor.
Who do you know that says that shit?
I don't know any fucking kids anymore, okay?
That's just not real.
I mean, it's real in college, like that fucking Latinx shit was. Like, but it's younger people, right? It's not like people in my age group, I don't think.
I don't know. Even the Latinx stuff, like, you ask any Latin person, like, yo, don't call me that shit. They get offended.
Yeah, of course. Latin but like, this was like a big thing on college campuses. It was a big meme on like it was enough that it was like part of the national conversation. Like people were talking about BIPOC shit. I feel like I've read this in some Canadian government fucking shit or whatever. It's like big corporate speak, like the Latinx shit. See some people in chat saying their college still does it. Like yeah.
Listen, I'm probably gonna offend a large segment of your fan base, but if anyone's 20 and they have an opinion, I just barely listen.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like the main reason why, like, whenever guys tell me like, "Oh, I only want to date young women," and the reason why I can't is I can't listen to them talk. So for me personally, whenever these young people are saying a lot of this goofy ass shit, I'm like, "Bro, how old are you? Man, shut your ass up." Okay, I'm not listening to none of that bullshit. So I hear Latinx, I hear BIPOC, I just roll my eyes and keep it pushing because I'm like, this is not real. It's not going anywhere. And until I see this shit in the real world, I'm not buying into none of that. That's not to say that everything that happens on college campuses doesn't translate elsewhere, but I'm like, bitch, you're 20. Shut your ass up. Nobody cares what you think. And they shouldn't, because what you just said may be one of the dumbest things I've heard so far. BIPOC? Bro, I want to go up to a black person and explain this shit. You know how fast they gonna roll their eyes at me?
Yeah, well.
Hey, man, black indigenous people of color, they be like, hey, man, why are we including them natives?
No, you can't.
What, you can't say natives?
No, I was going to say, well, it can't just be black people. Otherwise, it would just be black people. They had to bring one other group along with them. So, and natives are small enough a group that they won't take too much attention. So it's like the perfect group to align yourself with.
Maybe I'm unaware. Maybe you can fill me in. Is there like a secret alliance between black folks and natives that I'm unaware of?
No, there's not.
I hear that a lot. Black and indigenous people. I'm like, why are we ending indigenous people?
Yeah, I don't know. I imagine trans people today probably feel the same with like fucking xenogenders and like neo-pronouns and shit.
Whoa, what's xenogenders?
Oh man, dude, I don't even. I said I was getting away. You don't want to know. I don't even want to explain it to you.
Hey man, I'm not gonna lie, man. You know what I was saying the other day? I said that I was saying this the other day. I don't know if you feel the same. It's like, listen, I might not fuck with a lot of this weird trans stuff, but some of it's got some fire names. Like I was saying this the other day. I said like Demon Mama's username is amazing. Like she might be a straight up loser, but her username needs to be redistributed because that is one of the best online usernames I've ever heard.
Yeah, Demon Mama.
Demon Mama is a fire username.
Okay.
You don't think so?
Maybe I'm just too poisoned by
No, like listen. Trans people may have whatever faults they got, but when it comes to choosing names and shit like that, xeno pronouns, like, bro, I don't even want a regular pronoun no more. Xeno pronoun sounds lit.
That's where you have like Faye, Fair, or whatever instead of he, him, or whatever. You get like yeah.
Like listen, I don't actually want to use it, but I'm just saying that the marketing of it is kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess
xeno pronouns. But yeah, that's just my my hot take on that one. What were we talking about before we got on this tangent about
BIPOC, white people are Asians, or Asians are white. We can understand why some people act shitty towards groups when they shouldn't be.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know what? That logic is actually the same. So that whole like we understand why they act shitty to groups. like whatever it might be, is the same logic that I think a lot of people used when they saw the Will Smith slap and said like it's fine with that, or like I saw that as a beautiful thing, because they felt like they've been abandoned by like men or males in general. And so it's made them jaded in that regards. And so when they saw Will Smith doing something that they loved, they defended that even though they know it's wrong. You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
Is that same logic? It's that same sense of like a little bit of that tribalism stuff. It's like, I think if you identify with one group and the other one does some, even if your group was in the wrong or whatever, you're still going to condone it because it appeals to whatever, political views or things you're trying to expedite. So yeah, I think that's what it really comes down to at the end of the day. Let me see here. The Will Smith stuff, I want to just wrap it up on that. So I'm thinking about that. I'm going to ask you this. It probably doesn't happen to you, but I wonder if you think it happens in the greater like white community itself. When they see that kind of behavior from black men, do you think it influences their perception of black folks at all on television?
As like violent, basically.
Yes. And the reason why I say this is because that's been a lot of the commentary from like political analysts or like people who are like in sports media. They're like, yo, I think this is a bad look for black folks. And we always have that in the back of our minds. We're like constantly like aware of how we're observed by the greater society. So I'm wondering, I've never actually asked this to a white person. Like, do you think it influences you at all?
Me, no, obviously, but I'm like a hyper political online person or whatever, right? Does it influence normal people's views of black people? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think I talk to enough like older kind of conservative people to know how they feel. I think for the younger conservative people, I don't think that they view. I think that there's a big difference between like the racism of today and the racism of like the past. And I don't think that like I don't think it's that thing where like they view black people as like another like barbaric animal species. I think, honestly, I think from younger conservatives today, I think that the whole thing reflected more poorly on like white progressives excusing it than like black people in general. That would be my guess.
You feel like for the young folks, it doesn't have nearly as much sway? Is that because they're like more exposed to other minority groups, so they have like a more holistic?
Yeah, I think the way that like racism embeds itself in like younger people today, I think just looks a lot different than like the racism of the past, where it's like black people are violent or whatever. I think a lot of it also probably plays into who Will Smith is, but like maybe I'm biased there. Like Will Smith would be like almost like the perfect. Will Smith would be like, if I use this term, do you just tell me if you understand what this means? If I say like a starter black boyfriend, does that mean anything to you?
Oh, like just a good guy that's acceptable in black?
Yeah, exactly. Like a girl that has a parents that like, they're not like super racist, but you know that if you were to bring home like a real like fucking ghetto-y black dude, they would beat your ass. But if you had like one that's like, oh, well, he speaks well and he's polite or whatever, like Will Smith kind of comes off as like that. So I feel like a lot of people...
He's like black light.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, I mean, because like, I think when white people think of Will Smith... Like, we think of, like, Men in Black and Wild Wild West and, like, rap with no swear words. So I think for, like, older people, I don't know if they would associate, like, Will Smith as, like, oh, my God, like, what a negative example of, like, black culture. But I think if it was, like, a rapper or something that did it, then I think...
like, fucking Future.
Then I think you would get people, like, that are like, wow, this is, like, an example of black culture and it's really bad, blah, blah, blah. I think that's...
And it's ghetto.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it reinforces that. Yeah. I think Will Smith did have that image for a long time, so I think probably for older folks it kind of shattered that a little bit. But I think what you said about like white progressives and stuff like that, yeah, it was. What did you think when you saw all those people clapping for Will at the end and him doing his speech? Would you think that's just like an actor thing where they need to circle jerk each other, or do you think it's like a racial thing? What do you think was that made them condone that?
At that point in time, man, it's got to be like so. That's got to be like just difficult for everybody involved, right? It had to be like so fucking awkward and like how should you act and who knows. Like I think that entertainment tries to sit very, very, very far left of society, but I don't know if I'm going to say everybody in the audience was trying to get on some ultra woke shit or if it was more just like a fuck, like I don't know what we're supposed to do. Like are we supposed to be here like protesting this, or do we need to make a statement, or do we just want to clap and go along and see what the fuck happens, Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That it was. Yeah.
You know what's weird about this whole thing is like I feel like I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I think it was pretty surprising. I think there are lots of times where comedians make jokes or like black people go to roast and they get roasted and shit and nobody like hits anybody. Like I think that happens.
I'm not talking about the act itself. I think most people would agree like that thing was surprising. I think just everything around it was surprising. But I feel like I shouldn't have been surprised by the fact that people would condone it. I shouldn't have been surprised by folks who would clap, or that he would be allowed to even stay at the venue and be able to accept an award and do a fucking crying speech. Like, and that people would look at him with such adulation. I think I shouldn't have been surprised by that part, but I was really shocked.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what kind of
who knows?
has made me like double take this whole week or last few days since it happened. It's just like, why is this like such a weird image to me?
Sometimes I wonder in society, like it's good to analyze all the different facets of like things that have gone on. But I also wonder sometimes if we get a little bit too lost in all the intersectionality, to where we kind of like miss missing the forest for the trees or something?
Yeah.
Where like, because I've seen a lot of takes, obviously, we've both seen a lot of takes where people make this like a very, very, very complicated intersection of class and race and gender. There's like so much at play here. But sometimes it feels almost like you're a simpleton if you just say, like, hey, like, maybe hitting people for making jokes is just not good. Maybe it really is just as simple as that. We just shouldn't be hitting people for making jokes. Yeah.
And I think that is the correct take. I think the issue becomes the fact that I think people know that. So then, if they know that, why was that not applied? I think that's where the intersectionality comes into play. It's like, then you have to question yourself. It's like and I hate to bring up the whole gender thing, but we both know, right? We both know if a man went up there and slapped a woman.
Oh shit, dude! Yeah, it would be over. It'd be like World War III. Actually, we'd be taking troops out of fucking NATO countries and we'd be bringing them to the fucking Oscars because shit would go wild. Yeah.
Right. And I hate to be the dude who brings that shit up because like everyone's like, oh, here we go.
Reverse the roles. Yeah.
But my issue becomes like we have this society that tells us that violence is unacceptable, that does all this stuff, that we take men's issues very seriously, that we think that violence against men is wrong, and then we see it on television and everyone's laughing and clapping like it's a great thing, and it's like, what kind of messaging is that sent to people in general? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and it annoys the fuck out of me to even have to say this kind of shit because I'm like, bro, you don't think I don't find this topic redundant as hell? But I'm confused. We literally saw it on national television. We saw people condoning it. What does that say to young people too?
Yeah.
You know? Oh, if your girl gets insulted, you should go and assault the man. You don't think that perpetuates that same shit? Mm-hmm. Right?
Especially when it's like the last guy in the world that should be doing stuff like that, you know?
Oh, man. I saw like a lot of black guys try to tell me like, yeah, man, you can't let your girl get distracted out of that. And it made me sad as a black person because I'm like, the last thing I want to teach these young guys is that when they feel some type of way emotionally, that the first thing they should do is go fight the person. Mm-hmm. Because right now it ended in a slap, and we can say that because he walked away. But you and I both know that for most people who engage in this kind of shit, you do that to somebody else in the street or somebody else at a comedy show, you either getting arrested, it's a fight, weapons might be drawn because like wherever you fucking live. Mm-hmm. And so it escalates so fast. And so I'm always shocked at how frivolous people think violence is just because the outcome that they witnessed wasn't fatal. Because trust me, slap the wrong person, they go reach for their concealed carry and blast you. Mm-hmm. Or if it's not concealed carry, maybe they just got a gun that they can keep on them for whatever reason. Because
it's like the fucking the Chappelle skit, right? When keeping it real goes wrong.
Right.
Like sometimes it's gonna just walk the fuck away.
Have you been in a lot of fights in your life?
Fuck no, I'm not that kind of person.
Okay. Good. I can say this, okay, and I try to take Chris Rock out of it because I think I like to look at it in a more general sense. Mm-hmm. When you get hit or you get punked, right, that shit sits with me. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about like the fury and the rage that you can feel. At least I feel this, and I've talked to a lot of dudes, they understand it. It's like when you get punked, you don't forget that shit. Especially like it's just the feeling of being emasculated, especially in front of other people. Like that shit will make you rage on the inside. Sure. Okay. And so you start thinking about ways to get revenge and all this other stuff. And for some people, they just let it dissipate over time. But for other people, like they don't let that shit go. So you catch it, it's on sight afterwards. The last thing I want is for people to start perpetuating these kind of like cycles of violence, where they get hit, where they lay somebody out, and they got to look over their shoulder. Okay, one of the scariest moments of my life is when I beat somebody up, and then they said they won't get their brothers after me. Like, I already knew that was real. So I remember leaving school for a full fucking year, looking over my shoulder every time I left, fearing like 5 guys were gonna pop out of nowhere and jump me. And I say this because as an adult now, I tell people, don't be violent at every turn. I don't care if they call you the N-word. I don't care what to say. Like, just try not to do it, because it's not good for you. Okay, and there's so much bravado and so much like posturing that people need today from like a masculine standpoint that I just think is trash. It's never going to lead to good outcomes. Even if you beat the person up, like, you feel good in that moment, but then the fear that you feel afterwards for retribution is like a real thing. You start being paranoid to a degree that's not sensible. So when I see people condoning this shit, it's like you are encouraging folks to fall into that same trap, and I just don't wish it for people. I don't know. I just feel like it's just irresponsible. It's irresponsible to such a crazy degree, and it just reinforces more of the same shit that I've believed my whole life, where it's just like, yo, listen, men want to fight each other. That shit's cool. Like, we say it's bad on like an optic standpoint, but we don't actually really give a fuck.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what it tells me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, this was really big news, and I didn't think it'd be this much of a big news, but it might be like the biggest story this year in a weird way.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the whole World War III Ukraine stuff, but yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you this.
Socially, it was probably big. Yeah, probably bigger.
For black folks, they don't give a fuck about you.
Sure. Yeah.
This is 100% their biggest story.
Yeah.
150%. I think for folks who are like really consumed political media and shit like that, they're concerned about Ukraine, like, because they understand that they should be. But for most people, they don't give a shit.
Obama.
Sure. I mean, I agree. I've always said that, like, when it comes to foreign policy, like, most people don't give a fuck. Is the reality of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the issues are just too far away to really care, to be honest. You understand, even if like intellectually you should, it's just hard to understand something that just seems like it's far away. Whereas like Will Smith is like, I used to watch him in my living room.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Which I think
The Fresh Prince.
I think that's pretty normal. I think it's a pretty human thing.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I could ever think of an instance where somebody got assaulted on live television like that. Can you? It happened. I can't think.
The most other surprising thing that I can think of for live things is fucking Kanye West.
Yes, I was thinking that too during the hurricane.
Yeah, it's a George Bush.
Yes. Hey man, yo, black people taking the stuff, bro. We killing it.
Oh shit.
That was a goated moment. They don't care about black people, and then fucking Stephen Myers is like fucking goofy face afterwards. Like, what's happening?
He doesn't know what the oh, and they cut to like fucking is it Chris Tucker or whatever? Fucking.
Hey man, black people, we're iconic, bro. We don't give a fuck.
Oh shit, yeah.
I can't think of like to me, but I'm talking about like physical violence. I can't think of anything.
Yeah, no, I don't think
it's so crazy that you were thinking of another moment, and we both zoned in on the exact same one.
Yeah,
exact same one.
Damn.
Yeah, I can't think of anything like that. In my lifetime, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. But I do think it is a flashpoint. I really do think it's a flashpoint in that, like, of like the whole like the violence stuff. Do you think that this stuff is only going to get worse in terms of like the violence for opinions?
I don't know, man. I never make predictions. Who the fuck knows? Maybe we'll get another coronavirus variant that'll lock us up for another year. Fucking who knows, you know? Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? We'll see where we go from here. The opinions are really bad. I think that, like, the thing... Yeah, there's who knows. The next election cycle in the United States is going to be wild. I'll say that.
You think so?
Yeah. Because I think that unless the economy somehow, like, massively 180s... Biden did a perfect job with Ukraine, but no one's going to care about that. And if the economy is still like we get into the inflation and the high gas prices, I think they're going to be a big Republican sweep. And I don't know how the left can act because like the people, there's a big chunk of this very far left that is incapable of making any sort of concession or recognizing any middle ground with any people on the right. So it's going to be pretty hard for them, I think. Who knows what's going to happen? Yeah.
I don't think without like a polarizing figure like Trump being so prominent, I don't think it can even be that divisive. Do you think it's going to be as divisive without Trump being like in the forefront?
I think the Democratic Party is very divisive to far left people. Like, yeah.
But even the far left people, I don't even feel like they're that present in like the public discussion.
The problem is that they're so present. The problem is that there's not many of them, but they're very loud. They have like a huge voice. Like, and the problem is that like when the average on Twitter and on the news and in conservative circles, like when the average when the average Republican thinks of what the average Democrat is like, they're thinking of like the Squad and Kamala Harris. They're thinking of like Rashid Tlaib and AOC. Like these are the loudest people in the Democratic Party, right?
Hey. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. I just think it's just, the perception is kind of bad, I think. Like even normal Democrats think that sometimes of the Democratic Party, that they've moved too far left for them. I think that's why you're seeing a lot of the minority votes kind of slipping away to the Republicans. And once those minority votes start to slip away, it's going to be really hard for the Democratic Party because for the first time in their lives, they're going to have to actually start paying attention to minority issues and not just take the votes for granted. It's going to be a while to work that out. And conservatives already have a big head start as far as social values go, because minority communities are more aligned with them socially, and Democrats don't even know that yet. So that's going to be hard. Yeah.
I definitely agree with you there. I think one of the weirdest transitions is going to be some minority voters all vote for Republicans in the next election. I feel like a large section of them are definitely going to switch over. I was going to say, you said this is interesting. You said you felt like Biden was perfect on Ukraine?
I think he did, yeah. But that's
okay.
Complicated.
Does that include his messaging or just like how he handled it?
Every single part of it, I think was
okay. So you might educate me on this. Did he not just recently go full retard and say something about like we're going to put boots on the ground or some shit like that?
No way. He never. Yeah, it's not possible.
Am I
haven't
crazy
heard it, but there's no.
Like he went comatose.
The thing that he might have said possibly was maybe we're going to put troops in other NATO countries, but not in Ukraine. There's no way he would have said anything like that.
Did he not just say that some folks stationed in Poland were going to go over to Ukraine and look at the women suffering and some shit like that? And then I think he also said, what do you think he said about the regime change? Was that crazy or no? I'm asking.
The regime change was probably a comment he shouldn't have made.
Okay.
I have to see the full context of that speech, but in some ways it's also kind of true too. Like Putin did something that we haven't seen people do for like almost 100 years. Like you shouldn't, like the idea of just invading countries like that to take over territory, that's some wild shit. And we haven't seen anything like that in a long time. But I mean, like, it's probably not for the U.S. president to say that, Russia needs a new leader. But
see, okay, I know that you understand the issue, and I think you did a good job of like parsing the differences between like the comparisons between American imperialism and what Russia did in Ukraine. So you understand that, but do you also understand that from the public's perspective, when they see the Afghanistan conflict and all that stuff, and from what they understand, they feel like what Americans did a lot of times overseas didn't feel that different to them? Do you understand that?
Yeah, I can understand why. Yeah, sure. It's not true, but I understand the feeling. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it becomes hard to some, and I say this as somebody who's like decided to read up a little bit on it and just understand the differences, because I think people raise some good points. But for me personally, I had a hard time reconcile like any grandstanding that America does when I hear about like some of the ways that they've engaged with drone strikes and stuff like that. I'm just like, I have a hard time taking it seriously, personally. But I also know that's not the most. That's not the most comprehensive political take in regards to the issue at whole. But I don't know. To just see when I see like a lack of accountability and the indiscriminate murder of foreign people abroad and innocent civilians, I just have a hard time taking like the moral grandstanding.
Sure, I understand, and there's room for that type of discussion. But like the thing that Russia did, the concept of invading a country to take land from that country, that's just something that nobody's really done, I think, really since like World War II. Even when you look at the foreign interventions that the United States has been involved in, we're not usually there to, or never, we don't go there to take territory from people. Like we didn't go to Bosnia to be like, we're taking this country, or we're taking parts of Libya, or we're taking parts of Iraq or Afghanistan, like that. That is like, and right now I'm not talking about it in terms of like, this is okay and this is bad. What I'm saying is that what Putin has done is he's in a way, it's kind of pushing towards rewriting the rules of how like the international world order functions right now, because right now we're not really in a stage of the world internationally where people go to war and take territory from people. That's just not something we do anymore.
Can I ask you, what's the giant difference between installing what most people would agree are puppet governments in a lot of foreign countries that basically bow down to U.S. rule? And
well, so like typically,
because it honestly, when I hear about CIA plots to, and this is not like a conspiracy, like when they've really been involved in the assassinations of certain leaders and stuff like that, to me, I don't personally see it as that different when you install people that basically curtail to every economic thing that you want to do.
It is different because like there's always going to be some degree of foreign interference in other countries, whether that's sending arms to certain people, doing stuff like the proxy wars, like that's always probably going to be a thing. It's hard to say that that ever won't be a thing. It's just too easy for great powers to do it, and there are so many channels through which they can do it. But there's something like unique about the idea of this isn't a proxy war. This isn't something we're doing kind of like, you know, under our breath. This is like we're sending our military into your country to take your territory and then rewrite the borders and include it into our own. That's like that's just something that and I understand the other stuff is bad. I'm not going to say that like the other stuff is like okay,
no,
but like that's just
agree
really
with you.
unique. Yeah.
I think I understand why you view that as unique. I think just for a lot of other folks,
they don't really see that much difference. Sure.
They don't because like my perception, at least even when I lived in Ethiopia, is the perception of the American government was one that basically comes in, does what it wants in your country, gets the trade deals that it needs, takes your resources however it fucking wants, and basically does what it wants in your country. So to us, it just looked like imperial. It looks like just another form of imperialism.
Sure.
And for most people, like, well, what's the difference between putting boots on the ground and taking over that country and their territory and basically installing people who are going to give you everything that you want? Like, you're basically not your own sovereign country anyways. So that's the perception that a lot of folks have of America in general.
Yeah, I understand.
I know so many, like, in terms of African countries that have been fucked over in that regard. So it's just hard for me, having known like some of the history of some of these places and how America's been involved and what they've done, to give a shit. Really give a shit. And take Haiti, for example. Like, I'm super tied to the Haitian community here. I've learned a lot about the history. What America's done to Haiti without putting boots on the ground via NATO and shit like that is absolutely garbage. And so they've essentially fucked over the country however they wanted. And it's like, what's the difference between that and invading? To me, I don't see a difference.
I don't know Haiti's history well enough to contend with the difference there, but like I will say there's also like a difference in that like at least through the Cold War, a lot of the countries that both America and the Soviet Union were kind of like fucking with are also countries with a great deal of internal conflict. And then usually like the goal is you go into that country and you kind of like put your finger on the scale to tip the scale in the favor of like an interest to your country. But like the idea of like another thing too is like Ukraine wasn't that country, right? Ukraine was a stable country. It had its own government. Like they did democratic elections. The idea of marching into a country like that, it's also like a new thing. Again, I understand that maybe it doesn't feel that meaningfully different, but in terms of like the world order, I think a lot of countries, even if the citizens don't see it as that different, like I think a lot of countries see it as quite different.
What about the citizens? I don't know if they feel it's that different. The people who actually live in those places, when they feel like their government isn't theirs, they don't
citizens
feel like
might not feel the difference either. Yeah, I mean, everybody feels the way they do about
Right. And so I don't know. I think it's just like a more of a global society, like the one that we live in now, where it's like globalism. You know, I don't want to actually use a lot of these terms, but yeah, I think that was just because I know in having conversations with my family members and hearing them talk about this, that is the prevailing sentiment.
Sure.
I also acknowledge this, that I'm not the most well versed when it comes to international law, when it comes to like foreign policy and things like that. So that's why even on my channel I don't be like actually in 1974, like I know my limitations, but as more of a layman, that's kind of the perspective. Do you, when you hear laymen speak about this, do you just find it exhausting, like, hey bitch, go read up?
No, I think a layman perspective is really important, because at the end of the day, laymen are the ones that are dictating who their governments are and how we respond to things. So I mean, yeah. Even if people think like the layman perspective is uninformed, like it's important because these are voters. So. Yeah. How does it make you feel when you hear everyone's perspective on America and like how negative it is? How does it feel? I don't know. I ignore it. I don't feel bad. I don't know. Just it is what it is.
Do you feel like America gets an unfair bad rep?
No, I think that like, I mean, like America, for better or for worse, through the Cold War and after, is basically like the leader of the free world, right? So I mean, like a lot of good stuff is going to get attributed to America. All the bad stuff is going to get attributed to America. I think America has genuinely been involved in a lot of stuff that's like pretty bad. I think America's been involved in stuff that's pretty good too. But I mean, like I mean, like when you're that big of a player, there's going to be all sorts of shit going on, good and bad. So, and I mean, like I can understand why there are countries that have like really negative perceptions of the United States. Like I don't think it's crazy to acknowledge that. Yeah.
Two questions. The first one, staying on this topic, and then I'll do my last question afterwards. First one, do you feel like America and the way it's engaged in a lot of foreign policy has been to purposely mostly been to the detriment of the country it's been involved with, and then to its own benefits. I feel like that's kind of a sensible thing personally. Like basically when you're going into these negotiations and stuff, you're really thinking about your own country's interest for the most part. I don't really believe in like the altruistic nature of a lot of foreign policy. Do you disagree with that nature? That?
I would say that for I would have to do like a huge reading to get like to do like a debate on this topic. So these are just like my moderately informed opinions, okay? My moderately informed opinions. I think that U.S. foreign policy broadly over the past 30 years has been pretty good, with Iraq obviously being a big sour spot of that. But during the Cold War, probably not as defensible. But yeah, I think that's what I would broadly say. Like the United States has been involved in a lot of like, I think that everything we did with exporting vaccines was really good. We did a lot there. I think that the United States under George Bush, believe it or not, did a fuck ton of assistance to like African countries for things related to AIDS. It was huge. We do a lot of work in terms of like supporting global research. We do a lot of charity around the world. I think that most of the NATO interventions were really defensible. But but like Cold War America was like a different beast. That's just like Old Testament, New Testament. God,
I think that would be a great. I think it would be a great video for you. I think it'd be really like informative in a way. I know maybe it wouldn't do numbers, so it's maybe not worth the time and investment.
It would be. I would need to do a lot of reading to be comfortable making a video like that. But
what was that? You'd have to. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But I do think I don't hear that kind of perspective enough, and so I think just something to counterbalance that with like somebody who has like actual references to historical moments and stuff like that. There's going to be people who obviously disagree with your rendition of certain political situations in history, but I do think I never hear that perspective, and so I wouldn't. Because I remember you even saying like Libya, in your opinion, was the right thing based off like what chemical weapons they were using or whatnot. And, like,
the intervention was good, but the aftermath was a disaster. But
yeah, so like most folks I know completely have the opposite take of that, right? So I think even just hearing like an in-depth talk about that when you say something, because I remember I think it was with Nick Fuentes you were saying that. Was it with Nick?
Yeah, probably.
I don't remember what debate it was, but yeah, when you said that about Libya, I remember my eyes opened up wide. But I also acknowledge that maybe there's more reading that you've done on the topic that can inform that opinion.
Gaddafi did a lot of really horrible shit to his citizens. That's all I'll say. Like look that up. Like he's like comparable to Assad. But yeah.
Yeah. And the last thing I was going to say, this is something that I've seen a lot. That do you see that comment by the Facebook CEO? What was her name? Sheryl Sandberg.
I have not, but
essentially she was saying something along the lines of like, if women were leaders, basically there would be no war.
Oh, Jesus, that's cool. Cringe as fuck. Yeah.
2 countries run by women would ever go to war, and I didn't cover it. I didn't say nothing about it, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
It's just cringe and stupid. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Yeah.
Well, you don't think it's true that women are probably more capable of sympathy and empathy and when engage in
when it comes to like when it comes to like leading countries, I don't think it's just like a male's whim of like, fuck these guys, we're going after them, and then all the guys in the room are like, hell yeah, we're fucking roided up, let's go.
Okay.
So like women in similar positions, imagining that they have like the same fucking priorities for the country, are probably going to be making similar decisions. That'd be my guess, but yeah.
Do you know about that lady in Myanmar?
Yeah, the one doing yoga.
The one who won a Nobel Peace Prize and then got turned to genocide a year later.
Oh Jesus, no, not that one. Never mind. I was thinking of there's the one from Myanmar. There was a woman like streaming herself doing yoga, and you could see like the tanks rolling into the capital from the background, going to do the military coup, and she had no idea. It was really
okay. Aung San Suu Kyi. Yeah, I think she won like a Nobel Peace Prize if I remember correctly. Yeah, and then like a year later she was. A year later, she was well, not a year. In 1991, she was given the Nobel Peace Prize while under house arrest, and then she became the leader. And now they're saying she's engaged in genocide. I thought it was just such a crazy turnaround. But I mean,
jeez.
Yeah. Shout outs to her doing her thing. But yeah, I thought it was a good chat.
All right, yeah. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate it. It's been fun, and yeah, you're in Quebec now, right?
Yeah, man. We're both on the same Eastern time zone, so if you ever want to fucking piss off your chat and play League all day, just holler.
Is Quebec really EST?
Yeah, man. All of Eastern Canada is. Yeah.
Wait, do you have CST or no?
EST.
Do you have CST in the country at all?
Probably. I think that'd probably be like Manitoba.
Wait, oh my god. What the fuck? Never mind.
That's Quebec City. I'm in Montreal, so it's a little closer to New York.
I thought Quebec was in like the center of the country, bro. I'm fucking wild. I've been to Montreal
What?
before. I don't know, man.
You thought it was the center of the country?
I thought it was near like fucking Winnipeg or some shit. I don't know.
Nah,
man.
nah. We don't do Manitoba. Manitoba, Saskatchewan, I think is
Jesus
CST.
Christ.
And then once you get to Alberta, that's when it goes. Damn, that geography, brother.
Why did I think that? Where did I fly from to? I don't even know.
You went from Los Angeles to Montreal?
I don't remember now. I have no idea. I don't remember, dude. I do some weird shit. Okay. I love you. Stay safe, my friend, okay? Try not to hit anybody if they make any mean jokes at you. Don't perpetuate the cycle. Okay?
Yeah, brother. And if you ever like need to say that word, but you can't, just holler at your boy and I'll say it for you.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. Have fun, man. Bye.
Peace.
Why did I think Quebec was in the center of Canada? I'm wild.